I welcome each and every one of you to this session on Agrofood Entrepreneurship training for Nigeria. I want to introduce my organization first. Like I said, my name is Maureen. I work for the Foodbridge. I hope you all see the screen. The Foodbridge is a Belgian registered nonprofit organization. And what do? We work in different areas in the agro-food sector. The core areas that we focus on is protection of indigenous food systems and cultures, access to acceptable and nutritious food, economic empowerment, research, and education. And we've had different projects and with different partners focusing on these core areas. One of the initiatives that we have is the African Diaspora Projects Initiative. What is this project? The idea behind this project is to encourage those of us that are of African origin that are living in the diaspora to work hand in hand with people living in the African continent towards the development of Africa. So we support those that are in the African diaspora to initiate projects in their different African countries, especially in the agro-food sector. Currently, we have a platform for members of the African diaspora that are working in the agro-food sector. And on this platform, we have more than 100 members that are people living in the diaspora with projects in the agro-food sector. Those of you that are working in the agro-food sector, you may wonder, what is the interest of people living in the diaspora with what happens in the continent? Well, those of us that live in the diaspora, we still try to eat the same way we eat when we were living in Africa. So there are lots of African shops, and the food that are in these shops come from products that many of you grow in the different countries. So what happens in the agro-food sector in Africa is of interest to us. Excuse me, please, can you mute your microphone, please? That way it doesn't interfere with the presentation. Thank you very much. As I was saying, the work you do in the agro-food sector is very relevant to those of us that live in the diaspora, because the food we eat comes from what you produce. So it's of interest to us to ensure that you have the support that you need to make your projects in the agro-food sector look not just lucrative, but also that is ethical and also safe. Because yes, we want to eat home food, but if the food is not safe, we'll start looking towards getting food from other sources. This introduction today is for a training that will be quite intensive, and we have partners that we've worked with over the years who are also going to be part of this project as trainers, as facilitators. A lot of them, we are really grateful to Kole CP, to Vectra, FAO, Mese Botanic Garden. We've had a long-standing partnership with them, also with Entrepreneurs for Entrepreneurs Belgium. So they are going to provide us with the necessary support and resources to ensure that those of you taking part in this training, that you receive the information and all that you need to make your work in the agro-food sector lucrative. You feel that what your contribution is also appreciated, and that your products meet the right standard nationally and internationally. So if after this introduction today, you are interested in following the intensive training, you have to send an email to that are provided here, info@thefoodbridge. Those of you that filled in the survey, you already have our email address. You can also send us the information on WhatsApp. For this intensive training, we're going to give priority to women and youths. So, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to select men that we think that their projects are viable or that their projects, can benefit from this training. But the priority is for women and for youths. When we say youths, not 40 and still being youth. No, we're looking at between 18 and 30 years. And the information that you provide will be your age, your contact details, and what you're doing in the agro-food sector. It's based on this that entrepreneurs will be selected for the intensive training. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to hand over to Rebecca Rubio. Rebecca is someone that I know. Rebecca is someone I know very well. We've collaborated in projects, and she has experience working with different international organizations that are involved in trade and sustainability. So I think, not that I think, I know that what she will be a good resource person for many of you, and that at the end of the day, her experience to be useful to the work you're already doing. Thank you very much. Now over to Veronica.
Thank you, Maureen, for the nice introduction. I'm gonna try to shift so I become the presenter. Just checking with you if everybody can see the presentation. I think you can, right, Maureen?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So let's have a look. We have like 20 minutes to go. Flexible because today is the first day and it's the introduction. And our idea, Maureen has the great idea of saying, let's make the introduction live so we have more, even if it's impossible to have a human touch, at least that we can see each other and recognize each other for the first time, even though eventually we will have videos more often than live presentations. So welcome to this very first module of the training on Agri-Food Entrepreneurship, specific on access in premium markets. As Maureen said, I'm Veronica Rubio. I'm Senior Advisor of Vector International, which is a company, an international cooperative of consultants who work to promote access to markets. And the layout of this training will go as you can see in the second slide. We will have 30 minutes presentation, and then not always the same day, but a few days later, we will organize another 30 minutes to address your questions. So the idea is that you can dedicate these 30 minutes to listen to the presentation, take notes, maybe reflect, talk to your friends, to your family, and then a few days later that you can come back to us and ask us specific questions so we can get the best outcome of the training. As you can see on the screen, today we will discuss leading your way, and so it's a little bit of to give you the macro picture of the international premium markets trend, and also what does it mean to be an agro-food leader in this space. But then we will have 7 modules in total, talking, in some cases we will repeat some of the facts to keep you getting familiar to the trends. But as you can see, we will discuss what does it mean sustainability for you in this business, how to decide or go for export, local market, maybe both, a specific understanding on building your strategies to get to these markets. And also, as Mara was pointing out at her introduction, use is always safe and healthy for everybody, for the workers might be working with you, or for the last final consumer or yourself. The idea of these trainings will follow this path. So we will have first to allow you understand and assess your opportunities. And as I say today, it actually goes from the macro picture, because I don't know you specifically, I don't know your specific product. Hopefully with time we will get to know each. From the perspective, there are always ideas that you can pick up and start implementing them in your own business. Then we will also try to follow the value proposition, again, starting from the macro perspective to your own product, the story you need to develop to be able to sell your product. And then last but not least, identifying the different aspects of the strategy that you will need to follow in order to get access to the premium markets. So let's go. I hope we have a very interesting 30 minutes talk. I will be the first talking, but then we'll be start with introduction of what do we mean by premium markets, and that it is very clear, easy to remember for all of you. A premium market is a market that pays more for high quality and niche products. That is a very simple and uncomplicated way of defining premium markets. And I think it's very clear. It has the three components. It pays more, but of course, the products need to be special, need to be of more quality, or they are very niche for the consumer. The logic of premium markets is this pyramid that you low-end products that are but they are competing on low prices. Then they are bulk sold in bulk quantity, so they don't mind much about the branding. Then you will have the mid-range. You will have the see the premium market around it. So those are products that are top quality. They answer to a very specific demand in the market. They are special. They have a lot of maybe tradition around it, around of flavor around it, a lot of history around it. Therefore they are sold in a very high price, and therefore they are also sold in small quantities, because let's say that in a way the high price is compensating the fact that because they are so precious, the quantities that you will be able to place in the market are smaller. And in order to talk about premium markets, fair trade and markets. In this presentation, I'm going to follow organic markets as the paradigm for premium markets. First of all, because it's the one that is growing the most. Also because it's the one that we have more data about it and help us. It's the one that is more structured. And if we understand how organic markets work, we certainly can make new ideas for new potential premium markets. So in Europe, in the European Union, the figures that we have available are from 2017, which is a pity because, as you can understand, with COVID, many things are changing, and the organic market is not an exception. But we already know that for the entire European market, it represents the second largest market within the world. So the first one is the US. The second one is the European Union, and then the third most important or largest organic market will be China. And the European Union represents 34 billion euros in total, not 37, but actually 34. Within the European Union, the biggest country in terms of turnover is Germany. But then when you look at the fourth column, you will see that actually is Denmark, the country that has a higher proportion of organic products offered in this country. You can also see that Switzerland is the country where every person spends more money per organic food, but this is also due to the fact that it's a powerful coin in Switzerland. In average, we can say, and this is a very recent figure, that price premium that you can obtain selling organic goods can go up to 150% higher than if you will sell the same product as a conventional, as not organic. However, of course, you as an entrepreneur will always need to keep in mind all the costs and burden and shortcomings that you need to face in order to be prepared for the organic market. It is true that the organic market pays much more, but it's also true that demands a lot of bureaucratic stuff, certification, standardization of the quality, and so on. So before launching towards this market, it's always good to make the counting and to assess where you are in terms of maturity before just getting into the market. Know what are the most popular organic agri-food products. You can see on the picture that actually the tropical, whether they are fresh or dry, but also nuts and spices are is the group with most representation in the organic markets in Europe. Although you can see that all other products that are not within these clusters represent 28%. This could mean wine, or could be milk, or could be cosmetics as well. But what is worth keeping in mind is that tropical fruits are always in great demand in the organic market. Also, to show you that these are the top 10 countries that are selling organic products to Europe. And as you can see, China is on the top, but then you have Ecuador or Dominican Republic that you can also identify as a big volume being sold from those countries to Europe. And of course, you have noted that there is no African country on the top list. So this is something that we can identify, try to exchange thoughts why that's the case. Why not even as an alliance of African countries, you are not representative enough to be in the top 10 of countries. So I guess by now you might be asking yourself some questions. And maybe you prefer to unmute and then you can discuss it with us. But probably you're asking yourself at this point some questions. I don't know. If I was you, I would be asking, okay, but what does it mean, all this that you are telling us? Does it mean that I need to compete with China, with India, with Ecuador, with Peru? Why is there no African country on the list? What does it mean? Is this something to be worried about? Is this an opportunity? This sounds complicated. What does it mean, these premium markets? Does it mean that they only exist abroad, or what else can I do? So if you are asking yourself some of these questions, that is a good sign. It means that you're actually trying to get to understand the difficulties in assessing the problems that you might identify in the future. So before we try to answer those questions, make a step over and try to get together what do we mean by leaders, since this module was lead your way towards being a successful agro business. What do we mean by leaders? Very often we might tend to believe that leaders are those that are have power, that have power to impose the decisions, that they are in rich even, but power doesn't mean leadership. What makes a person to be a leader is actually his or her passion and her perseverance to achieve the mission she is pursuing. And that mission needs to be a good thing for her, but therefore, for example, if your goal is to become the biggest tiger nuts producer in Nigeria, to export all over the world, and you want to have a 3 digits profit figure at your every year in your account, then that's very good, but maybe you are not necessarily a leader. And on the contrary, if you want to become the best tiger nut producer in Nigeria because you want that your family and your community feel proud of you, you for the next generation legacy, capital, good finance, wisdom, respect for the entire community and the entire creation, then you are a true leader. And because you are willing to create bridges between the wisdom, the innovations created in the past towards the legacy you want to give to the future. And then mission and vision, but also you will need more shoulders to overcome the potential shortcomings. So having said that, and I hope there are many leaders here with us, this type of leaders that want to make the bridge between tradition and the future. Let's go back to the questions. You had a question. The reason why I wanted to confront you with these countries, with these figures, is because, and you know most likely, national player, also are international. And not only that, but you go wider than another commercial actor with every community and every region, the market, because maybe they have certain good regulations that make them competitive, like could be the labor market they have, the level of education they have, stability they have, or maybe they have certain advantages, like could be logistics, they are close to the port, or they have good geopolitical relationship countries, or they have good climate, or they have great soil fertility, or maybe they have expertise and tradition in the international market. Spanish olive oil, or could be French wine, or could be, I don't know, name it, or they have a specific culture narrative. A lot on this because I think it's very important products to get national identity, that national narrative. It could be for German car. See, nobody is even questioning if a German not good anymore, because they have been able to create this narrative product, the culture they have on being rigorous, etc., that make the product already As an international actor, you will need to take all this into consideration, all these aspects, and assess where you are as a company with regard of regulations, advantages, tradition, but also narrative, and where your own country is. I think it's homework for you to think about it, but it's worth doing it. So if we also try to understand our competitors, we are also do this companies. But let's break down the first three just as an example on you need to watch out, you might be aware when trying to enter into the premium markets. So we mentioned before China was the biggest, the first partner with the EU in terms of organic agri-food. And to be honest, I'm surprised of seeing that. I think it's a very interesting result. However, okay, when you look at the you can see that the two major products that China is selling as organic to Europe is oil cakes and soybeans. So that means maybe for the time that you are not directly with China. However, it's about China because they have a great different type of climates. They are very competitive in producing. They can also sell and buy and produce very easily and sell on the name of China. But it seems like for the time being, a direct competitor with you or against you. Then we have India, and I think India is a very interesting business case to learn from because products offered to the organic premium market, but also because they are very well. They are as an organic producer, they are a respected player. Community doesn't show doubt credibility of certified producers or products coming from India, which is not the case, for example, from China, where there is always this perception that maybe the organic certification from China is not credible. For India, it's the opposite. There is a good perception in terms of organic, sustainable product, and all is related to this aura that India has about vegetarians, yoga, all these elements that you might think has nothing to do with food, eventually played an important role in terms of positioning in the organic market because it's a premium market, it's something special. So in terms of competing with this type of products, like could be sugarcane, could be rice, could be fruits and vegetables, tropical fruits, etc. I would like to emphasize the importance for you to calculate the prices, investigate more the prices and quality, but also in terms of good delivery terms, because you will be indeed competing quite significantly with India. Also in terms of community reputation, if I told you that India market both for organic fair trade, but actually I would say more even for organic, should be the community reputation that you could build as a country. What is behind that reputation? What can be improved? And also in terms of organic certification credibility. I think today you have most of the organic certification or certified producers from Nigeria will be certified European certification bodies. To take what can be done to make sure that every certificate issue in Nigeria strengthen the reputation of the entire market on the entire country for the benefit of everybody. And last but not least could be Ecuador. I picked up Ecuador. I have picked up Peru or other Latin American country with the idea to show you that Latin America is one of the first continent in promoting certification for organic and for fair trade. So they have a lot of experience on that. You will be also competing with this type of countries. And I think it will be very difficult for you to try to compete on well-established sectors that could be banana or pineapple, where they already have a very strong position in Europe. However, you can consider other products. I mean, you could consider palm oil, or you consider mandioca, or other products that are not where they also produce, but they haven't been able to position yet. So these are some elements for you to think in terms of competition. That is both in country competition, but also the same principles will apply for your company as an individual company. The other question that we try to raise is why there is no African countries on the list of the top 10 organic importing countries. And I think the question is quite difficult to answer. So the best thing is try to have together homework thinking. And for that, split the question in several micro questions. So is it because the quality or the delivering of the product is not always adequate? For example, due to logistics, we cannot guarantee a standard quality of the product, and every time we ship it arrives with different quality. Is it because the market doesn't know the European market doesn't know the products that you are offering, doesn't know how to cook them, doesn't know how to deal with them, doesn't know many things, which therefore make them reluctant to source from you? Is it because you lack know-how on organic crops management? Maybe there are not sufficient internal know-how in the country to really make that very easy for you. Is it because African countries have not invested in creating a community brand and adequate narrative? Again, you see that I'm insisting a lot on this topic because I assume that you already know that quality is a must. The quality and standardization of the quality is a must. The price is also very important. But surrounded with all that, in order to be able to sell good quality at good price, you need to create a brand community, a narrative around the entire country, the entire region. Only doing it by yourself is going to split and dilute the message. But if you do it as a community, that will stay, will remain, you will have a vision. And that's why we need leaders to take that burden within, because it's something that it will serve for you as a company and for the future generations. And that the last question will be about, does it mean that exist only abroad? And the good news is that the answer is no, actually. In every community where there are multiple needs, and also the material means to pay for the differences, there is always an opportunity to create premium markets. And actually, I hope through these modules, we can incentivize you to think together to create a local community that investigate possibilities. Because the advantage of creating premium markets within your local communities, within your regions, are multiple, really. You will be able to diversify the market and the risk. You will be able to start safer environment where you are only competing on price and quality. You get your arms and legs stretching to really go afterwards to an international market, and you keep building and retaining talent and know-how within your internal communities. So the advantage of creating premium markets at your countries, at your regions, are explore that. So homework for you is that as you compete with something as wider as we have shown today, you will need inner strength, support, community, and of course, regional and national infrastructure. So I invite you to start thinking, who are your best friends? Who is your family? Where are your allies and the communities and the resources you for this fascinating journey? And I leave you here. I think, I spent my time. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you found it relevant. And I give the floor to Maureen now for next instructions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you can stop sharing your screen, that will be helpful. Okay. Thank you. I don't, like I mentioned in the message I sent to those that are on the WhatsApp group, and also during my introduction, if you have any questions that you regarding the presentation, this introduction today, we can take a few questions. There is a sign, you can raise your hand or you can indicate in the chat. You can write down your questions. We can take at 5 o'clock to 5:30. There will be a question and answer session when you have reflected on the presentation today and given it some thoughts. Then we'll have this session via WhatsApp. So if you're not yet on the WhatsApp group, you can also send us a message. I don't know if anyone has any questions for Veronica.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Can
you say your name, please? Sorry.
First of all, oh, okay. My name is John. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm not in the WhatsApp group, so I would like to join the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
A friend spoke to me about it, but I'm not quite sure yet about the major scope of this. Like, for example, let me speak for myself. Where do I come in? What value how is this valuable for me personally, first of all, and what value can I add to the project? And another thing I want to ask is that for what is the actual possibility? What are the possibilities or what are the opportunities in this, basically?
Well, going by your question, I take it that you didn't start with us from the beginning?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
this is my
because
first time.
This question, were addressed at the beginning of the presentation, but I'm going to also share the record with each and every one of you that ended this session. Indicated.
I have a question.
Hello?
I have a question.
Yes. Can I link the question, please? Please, can you mute your mic if you're not
Okay. My mic is on mute. It's mute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, if I can hear you, then your mic is not on mute. Okay. Thank you very much. With regards to the question from Mr. John, that has already been at the beginning of this introductory session. So I'm going to send you the recording, and hopefully you information there. But if you still have any questions after this, you can send, you can be part of the question and answer that will come up on the 17th at 5 o'clock. Okay. Next question, please.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.